So we're here at the property. We're in Tennessee. I want to kind of go over what our business is. So I'm going to ask Jerry some questions. So hopefully everyone following along can get a better understanding of one component of our business, which is lending. Can you explain what ABLP is? I know I said it's lending, but kind of the dynamic behind it?
Yeah, so we're a commercial bridge lender. So what that means is we do short-term loans on commercial real estate.
Why do people need a bridge loan as opposed to, I think, what most people consider, long-term debt?
Yeah, usually a borrower ends up in a need for a bridge loan when they've completed construction on a project, or they've entered a second stage of construction on a project, and they need to pay off their initial construction loan, but they're not ready for long-term financing yet. So they don't have the property stabilized, generating positive cash flow. So your banks and other prime lenders aren't quite ready to enter yet. So that's where bridge lenders come in.
Okay. And from the investor standpoint, because we talk a lot about the equity side, owning real estate. Why does an investor like the lending side?
Yeah, the lending side is an interesting one because you can get sometimes an even better return than the equity investors get. Just kind of depends on how the deal is done. But main thing that's attractive about the lending side is just the current cash flow. So the guys who are doing the equity side of the deal, they're going to put their money in, go through construction, and they're not going to get cash flow for sometimes several years. On the lender side, we get cash flow day one.
So the passive income or the mailbox money that everybody hypes up, this is a good way to achieve it.
Yes.
Welcome to Memphis.
Thank you.
In 409.
Thank you.
So this building, it's about 100 and, I think it's built in 1917, so 100 and something years old, but it's a very cool building on a great, just South Main, Trolley Street. It's iconic.
What's the first threshold that a project has to get through for us to go, okay, we're willing to look at this?
Yeah, first threshold is, would I be interested in owning this property? If the owner came to us and asked us to invest in the property, if the answer to that would be yes, then being a lender on it is kind of a no-brainer. If the answer is no, then we probably don't want to be involved with it in any capacity. So, sprinklers all look like they're current. Are there any code changes or anything like that aside from the ADA access issue?
Just some egress items that we need to get people out of the building safely
because you're putting in a wall?
Yeah.
Got
numbers
it.
of people that we're putting in here as well.
Okay.
But like you said, the sprinkler systems are good. It's got a fully functional, very nice elevator. You don't see these kinds of places up for sale very often downtown. You usually see the ones that have been vacant for 4 years.
What about the borrower? Do you look at kind of who he is and if you want to work with him as well?
Yeah, exactly. That's of course critically important. You can have a great property, that's a deal can go badly just because of the people involved. So that's a big part of the underwriting, is getting to know the borrower and making sure he's somebody that we can work with.
And if a loan is successful, right? We get paid our interest and everything's good. What does it look like when it doesn't go well?
Well, when it doesn't go well, typically that's because, just circumstances didn't work out to plan. And, any business venture, you have that problem. So typically we work with the borrower and try and figure out what is the issue and what needs to be done about it. And we'll try and cooperate with them through the process. In some cases, though, you have situations where, the borrower's not doing what needs to be done, or they're not representing our interests, in which case, unfortunately, in those situations, you have to foreclose.
And so, knowing that that's a possibility, how important is the due diligence now and even the amount that we'll lend up to so that we don't lose money? As an investor, you don't want to lose money.
Yeah, exactly. And those things are, that's everything, is making sure that you've done your underwriting so you know what you're investing in. Make sure that you've got your legal documents in good order, so your rights are adequately documented, and that helps you prevent any kind of a loss.
This is the second floor. The other probably addition that would happen that'd be part of phase one, in addition to the reinforcement, would be the Vent-A-Hood that would probably come up somewhere from the first floor for that cooktop that we'd be adding. So.
You might have already said, what's the plan for this floor?
So this floor, the plan is a co-working space.
That's right, Jerry said that. For us as a company, what's the most we would lend on the value of it?
Depends on the property type. We typically try to be in the 65 to 70% range. We use a 68 number as kind of a midpoint there. Certain property types, particularly where we work real actively on the equity side, multifamily and self-storage, we'll go that a little bit higher on those, but other asset classes like hospitality may be a little bit lower. So that's kind of a starting point.
So we're back from Memphis. We've been here for about 3 weeks, and we decided that we are going to fund the loan. So we're going to go over some of the risks that we saw, but some of the things that we liked that led us to making the decision of moving forward. So Jer, let's start with what were some of the risks that we saw?
Well, the main one, of course, is that it was a 100-year-old building. So all kinds of things start to go wrong as a building starts to get to that age. So that was my biggest concern going out there. But I think they've done a pretty good job of addressing that issue. Mainly, one of the things I think I like most about it is most of the big items that need to be done on an old building like that are pretty much already done. So when we were out there, we were able to observe that they've already replaced all the electrical and some of the other structural issues that we would expect would need to be addressed. So the remaining issues, I think they've done a good job of identifying what those issues are and developing a plan for remediating them. We got to meet the team that they're bringing to the table to address those issues, the architect, the structural engineer, the contractors, and they put a good team together. And I would say most importantly, the team that they have put together has experience working with these old buildings and bringing them up to modern standards. So that was what we liked about it too.
Let's go over some of the things we liked about the building. What were the standouts for you?
Well, aside from just being a really cool concept, what the guy's doing, the Memphis market is particularly downtown. It's showing signs of life. It's already started to. We use the word gentrification to talk about how very old, run-down buildings start to get improved and bring up the overall quality of an area. One of the things we're looking for in a project like this is we don't necessarily want our borrower to be the first one to make that move in the market. And in Memphis, we were able to see that process has started. There are a number of buildings that have already been improved. They're doing well, and this project will just add to that, and it'll be a meaningful improvement to the downtown market, but it's a step in a progression that's already begun. So that was one of the main things I liked is it'll be a good project, and it'll be a nice improvement for the area.
One thing I really like, just to kind of echo what you said, the area is becoming really cool. Like we stayed at a hotel right next door that was fully redone. It was one of those historical buildings, and it was done so well. So it was cool to see like kind of that life already there. It was way more hip than I thought, so I like that. Two, I really like Jared. I really like the amount of equity they're bringing to the table. Like for us to lend, it's really good seeing that the borrower has the means to bring the project through, and I thought that was a good sign on that end as well.
I agree.
For everyone watching along, we're going to start doing more videos like this, walking you through some of these projects that we are either moving forward on or not moving forward. So make sure you're subscribed so that you can follow along on the journey. And with this one, because they're bringing in new tenants and there's going to be kind of a full revitalization of this project, we're going to go back out and see how the process is going. So I think it'll be fun to come along with us on this journey. We'll see you guys in the next video.